I was sort of born with this condition called cerebral palsy, and what it does is it affects your motor skills and the way you walk. And so for me, because there's a little bit of like confusion on how this disability is caused in the first place, we basically just started noticing signs when I was a few months old, that I had trouble sitting up, I couldn't hold things like holding a spoon, sitting up, or like sitting straight, or writing. All those things took like a really long time to develop, and then that's when we kind of noticed that there was something that wasn't quite right. So my name is Kimberly Miranda. I'm 18 years old. I'm currently a student at Dubai College and just finishing my last year. Well, we're talking about being blessed. So obviously, I felt very blessed. The Dubai community and the different schools I was in, and the doctors and everything were really open-minded. And I always tell people, like, I was never ever told that I was disabled or had a special needs. I was always the person that if there was an issue, there was always a way, to get through it and get past it. So I had that almost inner strength with me, fostered through my parents. I can't thank my parents enough. And, my friends, my physiotherapists, they all kind of supported me, and they said, this is something you're going to conquer and you're going to get through. And yeah, that's sort of the attitude I've had ever since. Physical, I'd say the physical barriers, because ironically, I feel like because I have this physical disability, physical opportunities are really hard. So, sports and going out to water parks and things like that, you always want to try. I was actually lucky because in DC, in Dubai College, they try and adapt sports for me. Like, I've tried trampolining, I've done rock climbing, things like that. But there are limitations. Like this year, our year had a trip to like Wild Wadi, and I couldn't attend, obviously, because it was dangerous. And yeah, those things are hard, but I feel like there has to be a certain limit where you just kind of have to accept that there are certain things that are dangerous to do, and you have to accept that. But I feel like there'll come a time where we can kind of bunch up the people with physical disabilities and find a way, because they have been finding ways. Like, I've been doing a lot of, because this is something I'm so passionate about, and how we can adapt the Dubai environment to really solve this problem, because I feel like obviously there's a lot of people with physical disabilities that face this as well. In the US, they made like a water park, a wheelchair accessible water park, so where wheelchairs could, drive on the water mats and stuff like that. So there is always a way. It will take time, it will definitely take time, but I feel like, yeah, there's some things you have to accept, but there's always a way to move forward. Yeah, it was actually it was like one of the best moments of my life. So New Year 2015, one of my idols, Juliana Rancic, had come to visit Dubai and JBR, and me and my mom went to visit her, and we saw this lady, and she asked us for a pen, and then she was curious to know about my disability, and like I said, I was always open to being open and expressing what it is, and I just told her my story, like how I was born and how I want to conquer obstacles that I face. And she was inspired, and she was like, actually, I'm a fashion designer, and I'd like to invite you to an event, where we're doing like fashion design, and they were doing a runway show, like a fashion show at the moment, and she's like, come on. And I just said yes, and I went to that practice, and they were actually modeling for the show, and they were like, do you want to try? And I was like, okay. I just walked like one length, and at the end they took a picture, and then that picture ended up on 7 days for the for the press for the show. So that's like my biggest message, is to just be open-minded. I did a speech. It was like another fashion show, and I did a speech there, and then from there it kind of like bounces off. So another lady met me, and she invited me to the SME World Summit 2015 in Dubai, where I spoke, and then one school in Dubai held a TEDx, and so I just auditioned, and I just found that really speaking about this to people helps the community. And I said, you know, why not share my story if it's something that people can gain from. I think probably the biggest part is, the hardest part is social acceptance, right? Because I feel personally, and I feel like I'm speaking for everyone who has special needs when I say this. I feel like we're not afraid of our disability, but it's just the fact that as other normal people are scared, and that makes us scared. So one of the biggest things for me was to really open up about my disability and really tell people, like, it's okay to ask me if you have any questions. I want to tell you about my story, you know. And that's something I encourage my other friends with disabilities to do, is as a person with disability, it's important to open up and be proud of your disability and show that you're conquering it as an inspiration, and then that helps your community to really open up to you as well.